Hello, my dear friends. Good morning and good evening. I hope you are all staying safe and I hope you are taking good care of your health, your family, and you're predominantly working from home if you're blessed. Yeah, but certain employers ask you to come to the workplace and without a choice. For example, if you are in the pharmaceutical industry, you have no choice. You will have to go through the pain of going to the laboratory and taking care of few things, but we don't have a choice. But still stay safe and follow the protocol that has been given as a advice by the health ministry in whichever country you are in. All right, a warm welcome to this session, these online sessions where we are dealing with a lot of motivational subjects. More than motivational subjects, I would say, I've always said that these are the aspects that basically builds your life. It nurtures and it takes you not only on the positive side, but it also helps you to get certain light on the areas where you are really weak, where there is certain level of improvement needed, and you have not realized that that is your weakness and stuff like that. But now you're converting, you're transforming that weakness to become your strength, right? And we all have shortcomings in life. We all do have weaknesses, and we need to basically focus on those areas and get them to the better side. And that is the reason wherein we are dealing with these kind of sessions time and again. All right, we have picked yet another topic which is going to be very, very helpful and useful because many of us live on this topic and lead our lives on this topic without even knowing that we are examples of this topic. All right, so this is to deal with the inferiority complex and the superiority complex, right? Many people might have heard about these two terminologies, right? Inferiority complex versus superiority complex, and what are they? That is what we are going to discuss in this session, and we will try our best to see how much of this we will be able to cover, and with practical illustrations and examples and whatnot. Now, just going with the basic definition, and as usual, we will be reasoning and we will be asking questions to understand things better. Okay, a superiority complex is an exaggerated sense of self-worth. Some see again, do not go on the lower side of self-esteem. You should have that self-esteem. You should really feel good and happy about who you are, but you shouldn't go to the extremity, right? That becomes pride and arrogance. That's exactly the problem with the superiority complex. It hides the real feelings, right? And it kind of brings in a kind of an artificialistic feelings that covers your fear factors. For example, there are two people working, and both of them are of the same knowledge, but the other person seems to be little brilliant than this guy. Then what happens is this guy is going to inflicted with the inferiority complex. First of all, he gets the fear the other guy is performing better than him. So in order to cover that fear, what happens is he pretends as if he's more than him and all that, and that basically transforms into some sort of arrogance and pride and arguments and jealous envy, bitter envy, and stuff like that. So that's why superiority complex is sometimes very dangerous, but I will take you through certain more examples, then you will understand when we go through those practical illustrations. I'm just setting the basics, right? And inferiority complex on the other side is an overstated feeling of weakness, right? That guy may not be that weak, but since many people have you know had been flooding his ears with feedback like, hey, you're not good at this, not good at this, and always negative what to say, conversations or his experiences, or always he hears the negative feedback. There is no mention about his positivity at all. Therefore he gets into the feeling of that weakness, and it often hides his or her true motives, such as the real strength and the aspirations for power and the real talent. What happens is it gets submissive, and it gets submerged. Submerged is the right word, right? It gets dissolved or submerged, and whatever two three qualities they may have, even those will not take any effect, or it will not get its exact output of what he was before, right? He was good at three things, but now he is good at zero things. Why? Because always negative feedback and negative things are getting flooded in his ears, and he's bombarded with these many that's why, if you're a manager, if you're a leader of your team, or if you're head of your home, and you need to always encourage people on the positivity and then talk about the negativity. But the world is so impatient and fast moving that we end up focusing on the negative side first, and we don't even talk about the positive side. That's the sad truth. Now, what causes superiority complex to some people is what we are going to discuss in detail. There are only a couple of things I would like to say. See, if you have if you have low self-esteem and try to hide it by exaggerating your accomplishments, you may actually make your self-esteem even worse. Why? Because you are packaging it with a lot of lies, and you're camouflaging the color, and you're presenting it, and over a period of time what will happen is people will find out it is not your idea, you're not worth for it, and they will treat you shamefully, and you will get into worse experiences. That's exactly the problem with the superiority complex, guys, and these are the side effects, and that's where you need to take a note. Now, studies show that if you brag about your skills or exaggerating, you would have done this much, you would be projecting it as this much, I have done so much. But other people learn, instead of you saying that the actual percentage is 70, you will end up adding some few more percentage, 74.5. He's going to sit and count or what? But some people do that, so then you will be put to shame. Technically it's called cheating, right? You don't want to get into that, but other people learn that you exaggerated, and they will basically think less of you. So in a corporate environment, what happens is, especially, or in your among your college life, and teenagers, and your friends will lose trust. Your employer will lose that trust and faith in you. They will have no confidence, and next time you may really have won something, or you really may have achieved something, and people are still not going to believe you. There is a Matilda story, you all know, right? She keeps on calling that fire service. Hey, there is fire. Fire service comes, and they go back, and they understood this girl is always playing like this. One day, really, fire caught up in her house, and then she tried dialing, and they thought, like other time, she's lying, and that Matilda girl died. I used to learn this in part of academics, and I was a little boy, but then I still remember this. So it will not be effective when really truth is taking place, or there is a situation which deserves for appreciation, that you have done something phenomenally, exceptionally well, and you deserve for that appreciation, but people won't be appreciating you. Why? Because you always get into these kind of exaggerations and covering up, decorating, packaging, and all that. They know, okay, fine, this guy is again speaking some lies, and I'm not going to listen. This is the side effect of the superiority complex people. Therefore, you need to really watch out. What causes inferiority complex, right? That's a very good question to answer, because many people, or majority percentage, are in inferiority complex. Very less get into superiority complex. Why? Because the human brain is something very feeble. It doesn't doesn't get self-motivated or rejuvenated with that energy, positive energy. Somebody need to boost it all the time. That's why people will need mentors and coaching and all that. Those that are working in IT industry or corporates, they definitely know what I'm talking. See, what causes inferiority complex is, this is usually a result of bullying. Some people keep bullying or flooding their ears with all negativity, or teasing them badly, or being reminded constantly of your limitations. See, some people are limited with certain capabilities, strengths, and skill set, etc. But in a world, if you see, there are a lot of competitions. Therefore, some people may outperform you, some people are better than you, some people score higher marks than you. But then you focus too much on your limitations, but you don't focus on your strengths. You may have other things better than academics in your life, which those people may not have. And that is where the parents will have to play a key role in the life of their children, that they need to analyze their strengths and weaknesses, and they should keep encouraging them that, yeah, there are 10 things which are right, only one or two things are bad. So what? These 10 things that kid may not have. So don't keep comparing, but keep talking about your kid. You're good at this, you're good at this. Don't say you're bad at it, right? Let the kid say he or she is bad at it, and then say, we will work on it. We will hire somebody, and we will help you to coach, or we will give that extra attention and stuff like that. So it's a mixture of physical abuse, mental abuse, and even emotional abuse. Some people tease some people. Few guys gather together and they tease a girl, and the girl would never want to come back to the college again, and that's called as eve teasing, technically, and the law judges and punishes them, and they deserve for punishment. They just cannot do it. It's harassment, right? And even emotional abuse that results in an inferiority complex. So if you're either in this mental abuse, always people talking to you about the wrong things, or physical abuse deserves a complaint. If you're going through any physical abuse anywhere, report it to the authorities or report to your parents. Yeah, if your wife is going through harassment, and please ensure that you inquire and then get into those details. Why? Because these can cause not only fear, but it pulls down the motives and also induces something called as inferiority complex, and it's very dangerous. These are the reasons why inferiority complex gets induced into a person's mind or heart, right? What are the signs that a person is going through inferiority complex? Very, very important question to analyze, right? uh, I'm giving you a checklist as usual. When you start ticking, the more the ticks, the more you are into inferiority complex. The lesser the ticks and more the cross marks, you are definitely not a inferiority complex person. Probably you are on the other side, superiority complex. That is for you to analyze. I leave it to you. These people who are involved in or induced in inferiority complex, they try to make you feel insecure. You understand? They constantly seek validation from others. That's the second thing. Everything that they talk, if you listen to such people for 5 minutes, right, you yourself will start feeling somewhat in you that scary thought, panicking thought, and then that fearful thought. When you try calling up some people, or when some people call up, you start listening to them. After 5 minutes, you will feel disturbed. For you to come out of that, it will take the whole day or the whole week, right? Such people are in inferiority complex, always instilled in fear about and the wrong imaginations of the future and stuff like that. And they constantly call other people to validate, right? Am I right? Always in a doubtful mindset. That's a second thing. Doubtful mindset and confused mindset, not able to concretely decide on certain things. And the third thing is they always talk about their achievements. Why? Because the more they talk about the achievements, they think they are going to forget the fear and all that. But the fear is all in your heart. You're not fixing the root cause, but you're trying to cover up the situation, talking all good about you. But you know the truth, what is running inside of you. So you need to be honest. If you're not honest, then you are a person who's inflicted with this inferiority complex, and you will brag about your achievements. Talk about your achievements. Fourthly, they complain a lot. They gossip a lot. Why? Because uh, they are confused. They are in a disturbed state all the time. They have doubts, and therefore they reveal it in the form of complaint, gossiping, grumbling also sometimes. And that is the fifth behavior. And sixthly, they are very, very, very sensitized people, sensitive to criticism, sensitive to jokes, humor, and anything and everything you talk, they will immediately take in a literal tense. Oh, it is for me. Because for inferiority complex, no, they're talking about me only. Oh, my position is gone. Oh, my reputation is gone. I'm going to be teased like this for lifetime. They will conclude it as a permanent scenario. That is their problem. They won't take it as temporary. Hey, jokes are temporary, man. Come on, we make fun. They will assume, oh, for the rest of the life, I'm going to be teased by these fellows like this. No, friends joke, and they kind of have this humorous sessions and all that. So they cannot take these kind of criticism or jokes easily. Then they are definitely, there's inferiority complex. Yes, if people are torturing you with all sorts of teasings and all that for all through the day, then that becomes harassment. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the lighter way of the joking and having fun together. So they regularly criticize others. So what happens? They precede other people, and before they criticize, they will immediately go on, and it ends up with fight and quarrel. They will not be able to build any relationship rapport. They will end up be alone. Right. The next thing, eighth thing is, most of the time you can see them alone. They will love loneliness because they don't want to gel. The more they gel with others, they feel, oh, they are going to get exposed. They're already in an insecure state, right? And that's what is called as technically inferiority complex, and they don't want to get into such kind of situations. They often withdraw from social situations, is what I'm trying to say. And lastly, they are known for frequent mood swings. Oh my goodness, you will be never able to guess their mood swings. It could be you. Whatever checklist I have given you, it could be you. Therefore, don't ignore. I'm talking about you, and it's time for you to take action. You either could consult a doctor, consult a friend, or you tell the truth to your own parents or to your own husband or wife and do something about it. Don't leave it, because the consequences are going to be terrible. Um, what is a practical example of inferiority complex? I gave you a few examples already. For example, a person who wants to look like a supermodel may experience strong feelings of inferiority because they may be done. But looking like a supermodel is an unreasonable goal. So even supermodels don't look like supermodels. That is the fact and truth. Without hair brushing and extra camera work and almost 1 inch of that what is that paste and gel they apply, and hey, they'll be smiling, and I will. That's not the real beauty. That's not the natural beauty. The natural beauty is the way how you look. Just be natural. Just be simple, right? There is one actor. His name is Rajinikanth, one of the super stars, and in camera he comes with all that wig and all the right. Wherever he goes in public, he is bald and he just doesn't care. He goes. What a super character! What an excellent attitude! He doesn't care, and he's really dark. But in the camera, in the movies and all, he appears someone who is different, and that is suitable for movies. So I'm telling you, the reality is different from what you see in that person, right? Externally what he appears is not the reality always. So you need not compare yourself with such people and get into such mood swings and whatever, right? Now, I spoke a little bit about inferiority complex. Let's talk a little bit about superiority. Superiority complex, I explained already what is the definition. Is it a mental disorder? Many people have this question. Obviously, inferiority complex is a mental disorder. If you have such kind of fear, doubts, confusions, mood swings, you have a problem. You need to consult a doctor. You go through medications or change in lifestyle and thoughts and attitude. It will fix. Don't worry, it's fixable. Likewise, a superiority complex, it's not an official diagnosis. It's a fact-based diagnosis. It doesn't appear in the diagnostic and statistical manual of the mental disorders, like fifth edition DSM-5. Many doctors will know this manual is to mental health experts and healthcare providers. Basically, they use it to diagnose a number of mental health disorders. But in that, you will never see superiority complex being mentioned as a disorder or a disease. It is only a fact-based imagination based on what is coming out as an evidence in terms of your character and behavior. That's how they diagnosed it, and they kept it as a virtual example. So don't worry, you are not inflicted with any disease, neither superiority or inferiority complex. Now, how do you fix inferiority complex? We will conclude in 2-3 minutes. I'm just winding up. There are many ways to do it. I've already explained few. Therapy is one of the important ways. Psychotherapy, they call it as. It's a great place to start when you're looking to work through your inferiority complex. Your therapist can help. He or she can guide you through your past experiences with criticism, the situations that led you to lower your self-esteem, and or any kind of traumatic situation. Physical abuses could be the reason, or that might have shaped your self-image negatively. You always think very negative about yourself, and there could be more than one reasons, and you are not the reason for those situations, for those incidents. It just happened, and therefore you need to consult somebody, trust somebody, and allow them to work in you. Therefore you can come out of it. You need not suffer like that and die like that, right? Or live like that. What do you do if you have a superiority complex, right? So there are ways to treat inferiority complex, and that applies even to superiority complex. Therapy is good, right? So it's called as what do you do if you have a superiority complex, right? It's called as cognitive behavior therapy, CBT. That's a way to treat it. It's a form of talking therapy that may be useful to individuals with a superiority complex. They will help you to pour out all that is new, what emphasized you to behave with that superiority complex. It was not your natural attitude, but somewhere along the way in the journey of your life, you were forced, situation forced you, or people forced you, or peer pressure forced you, or the worldly pressure forced you, something forced you, and they will help you to confess, and they will help you to agree and accept that that's not the right attitude, and then they will help you to fix it. So it allows the individual to identify the actual problem and challenge the negative thought patterns that had triggered as an alarm for him or her to behave this way. See, that can arise from poor self-esteem also. It's quite possible. To cover up that poor self-esteem, you behave somewhat extraordinary, somewhat artificial, somewhat rude, somewhat arrogant. And basically these therapists, they will help you to replace them with the positive thoughts and the balanced mindset. Yeah, it's like the state of equilibrium, and that's very important, right? State of equilibrium is always very important. Now, I'm going to just talk about this, and I will close. The symptoms of, see, we spoke about the definition, we spoke about the reasons, we spoke about the causes, and we spoke about the remediation plan, right? Remedy to fix it. Now we are. I just failed to cover one thing. I made a separate notes about it. What are the symptoms of a superiority complex? Symptoms of inferiority complex. I gave you a checklist. Likewise, we need to also deal with superiority complex. We need to understand. So there are few things. Just take a note and evaluate the real against you, who you are, right? You be honest to yourself. They will always have high valuations of self-worth. They may be worthy of this much. For example, they may have a car which is worthy of 10 lakhs, and they will say, no, I bought it for 20 lakhs, man. And you think people cannot discover the truth? They will be behaving so stupid that they don't even know. Google provides the actual cost, and people will be able to find out. But then you don't want to lower your grade and all that, so they will be very boastful and claim that they aren't somebody who is ordinary and they are extraordinary and all that. So what happens is they end up talking a lot of lies. It's also as good as like cheating the people, and people don't buy it, and society doesn't honor that. Over a period of time they will discover the real who you were, right? And it's a problem. So, and the third thing is they need a lot of attention. They are like babies, the kindergarten attitude, right? They always needed attention. Crying babies, you think all the crying babies are hungry and they need milk. No, no, they just need attention. The moment you lift it and say ha ha ha, and immediately the baby calms down, something like that, right? They need attention, and that really needs that is really is a problem that needs a fix, because adults cannot behave like kids for simple reasons. What if you sit in the middle of your hall and start drinking milk in the feeding bottle? What will happen? People will just come in and they will be scared and they will run out. You cannot have the childish behavior, kiddish behavior, right? You won't do that, drinking milk in feeding bottle, but you will take in the cup and saucer and you will drink like an adult. But why your behavior is like that kindergarten behavior or a kiddish behavior? That is where you need to really wake up, right? And nextly, they will build a kind of a self-image through their supremacy. They build that kind of extra supremacy and their revelations and the manifestations about their greatness and all that, and half of them will be like, and people will also know as you're talking. And next thing is they are bad listeners. They are unwilling to listen because they don't want to listen, because they give lot of work to this mouth and not to the ears. Why? Because they like bragging, no, all the time. They only will be busy. 30 minutes they are discussing something with a friend. 29 minutes or 30 minutes, this guy only will end up talking. So that's really a bad attitude. And if you are a person with superiority complex, you are a bad listener. And if you're a bad listener, you have a problem as a superiority complex. It's intercoupled. Okay. And they also go through mood swings, like how inferiority complex guys goes through. And lastly, underlying low esteem or feelings of inferiority could be the reason for them to become superiority, with build up a superiority complex. Once upon a time they had that low esteem. They were kind of inflicted with this what to say, inferiority complex. To overcome that, they bounced back and they become superiority complex. Neither of these ways are not going to help, right? You need to have a balanced life. You need to be a true what to say, you need to be a very truthful person. You need to be a person who's trustworthy. You need to be a very honest person. You need to be a blameless person. So walk in truth, right? And accept the facts. If God created you this way, you're this way. You have certain capabilities and you're not like the other person. You don't try to compete and rub your shoulders and come on, I'm also no inferior to you and I also have talent, because you think the manager is watching both of you and he's going to be rewarded better. Let him be rewarded better. You have many other talents. Why don't you focus on those, right? And getting this rewards and awards doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. How much you're happy, how much you're satisfied, how much you're joyful in your life, and what gives you that joy, that really matters. Some people extract the joy when they get into a lot of charity. They help poor, right? Some people in this pandemic situation, they had been helping to bury the dead bodies. Can you believe? Some of the software engineers, they took 1 month of sabbatical leave and they end up burying the dead bodies. Blessed are they, not only to themselves, to the society, and they are the most joyful people, and they have that satisfaction. Can you believe? Excuse me, they don't belong to superiority, neither inferiority complex. Therefore, you have a lot of things to learn, which means you have not gone through a lot of experiences, and many people, when they have these kind of problems, how it can be treated, should I go through medication, which doctor can I consult? Nothing needed. You need to take some decisions and find a suitable alternative, and you need to learn through people's experiences. That's why the networking with people and connecting with people is very, very helpful. Or in the worst case, you listen to videos like this, which will be very helpful, where we are sharing experiences, we are mastering on some subject, and we are coming and presenting it, and it will help you, right? All right, good. That brings the end of this session, where I believe that you have understood the basics and the details of the superiority inferiority complex. And please subscribe to our channel, get access to all the videos and playlist. And there are at least 35 to 37 sessions at this point of time. And each of them are not just the motivational topics; they are different parameters of life, which builds you as a stronger person, as a positive person, and drags you out of weakness and failures. God bless you, and I will soon meet you with another session. And please share it with your friends and relatives, and especially with the young people, teenagers. It is also applicable for the old age people. Bye. Take care.